Donations. Way to go, little Florence. That'll do it for us at 4. Everybody stand by for the latest on the Middleton shooting right after the break on News 3 at 5. Right now at 5, a suspect is dead and multiple people are injured after a shooting at a Middleton software company. We have team coverage.
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for staying with us, everybody. Middleton police are investigating tonight after a shooter opened fire at a software company earlier today.
The Middleton police chief has confirmed that the shooter is dead after being shot by officers, and 3 other people are injured and being treated at local hospitals. We have team coverage of the Middleton shooting, and we start with Eric Franke, who was at the scene with more. Eric?
Charlotte, Susan, good afternoon. We are on Deming Way here, just north of Greenway Station in Middleton, just a couple hundred yards from the scene of this incident today. It was about 10:26 when Middleton police took the call to the 1800 block of Deming Way. The call was for active shooter situation. Within 8 minutes, officers had engaged the suspect, 4 of them. 2 of them from the Dane County Sheriff's Office, 2 from the Middleton Police Department, fired on the suspect who had tried to fire on them from a cubicle. They shot the suspect, who later would die at a local hospital from his injuries. You mentioned those that were hurt, that were the innocents that were injured here in this building at WTS Paradigm. We know at this hour there are 3 injured, 2 in serious, 1 in critical condition. I also have learned that 1 patient did check him or herself into St. Mary's Hospital and was later treated and released this afternoon for another injury. But again, about 2 hours after this incident first started at about 10:30, they got the all clear and the situation was considered stable. Now, just about an hour ago, law enforcement did give us an update with more details on what happened here today. News 3's Keely Arthur has been following the story throughout the day, and she joins us live from the Middleton PD with the very latest. Keely?
That's right, Eric. The chief here saying no one ever imagined something like this would happen in Middleton, but today it did, and the police were ready for it and well trained, and boy does it show. Here is a breakdown of how quickly they responded. Now, they got that 911 call at around 10:29 a.m. and it was an extremely quick response. Sheriff Dave Mahoney says no doubt it saved lives. The shooter was taken down within 8 minutes of that first call. Now, what we know now is that the shooter was a worker at WTS Paradigm in Middleton. That shooter took down 4 people within 10 minutes. Middleton police and Dane County deputies took him down.
There were 4 officers that fired their weapons at the suspect, 2 of those being Middleton police officers, 2 of those being Dane County Sheriff's deputies. Obviously, at this stage of the investigation, we don't know who struck the suspect, how many times he was struck or whatever. but the suspect will...
That shooter is the only confirmed dead person in all of this. Sheriff Dave Mahoney says in a way that is a small miracle. That shooter had an arsenal of weapons, and it is Mahoney's belief that the suspect was looking to injure far more than 4 people. An update on those victims: 1 in critical condition, 2 serious, 1 treated and released. Eric, I'll send it back to you.
Situation over there, how quickly the officers were able to respond. The shooter said to have numerous magazines and a lot of ammunition on their person at that time. But what a chaotic and unbelievably difficult day this must have been for those workers in that building. Witnesses, several of whom we had the opportunity to speak to. Let's go back to studio to Jamie Perez, who's standing by with their story today. Jamie?
That's right. Well, he is still in shock, the employee that we spoke with, but he's thankful that he's still alive. He says that he's okay and managed to escape with just some minor scrapes and bruises. He actually let us take some video of his ear and some of the cuts on his arm. Now, he said when he heard the shots being fired, he took cover under his desk. It was only when he heard a pause in the shots that he ran out of the nearest glass door. There was a lot of broken glass around that area, which is how he got scraped up to begin with. He says when he left, he saw another man on his hands and knees who had been injured and tried to help him as he was escaping that area. All of this was difficult for him to process. He says he's still trying to make sense of it all.
It's not going to just affect just today of my life. It's going to affect everyone in that office for the foreseeable future. And so it's just a lot to take in. So I just haven't really thought about too much of what's going, I'm just trying to live in the now, and I'm just happy that I'm okay.
Now, the company that this shooting happened at is a software developing company. They basically help other companies in the manufacturing, shipping, and retailing of windows and doors. They work with other companies like the Home Depot, who order software and use it in their own stores. We've reached out to WTS management and staff for additional information and comment. We haven't heard back from them yet, but we'll keep you updated on more eyewitness accounts as the situation develops.
An unbelievably difficult day for all of those workers in that building. Jamie Perez live in studio. Jamie, thank you very much. And of course, after this incident happened, as Chief Folk updated us a little over an hour ago, he mentioned they had some individuals trying to reunite with family members at the Marriott West, a short distance from us. Some of them still were providing statements to police. So even as late as 5 o'clock, they were going to close that reunification center down at 5 o'clock. Let's go to Rose Schmidt, who's standing by there, live at the Marriott West. Not a long distance from where we are right now. Rose?
That's right, Eric, and you can imagine just how scary it is for people who live and work in the area, hearing gunshots and having to shelter in place. And that's exactly why this hotel opened up that center, so they could reconnect with their family members if they had to leave their belongings or their cars to go somewhere else. Now, we only saw a handful of people coming here today. They were bused here on a city bus. Officials with the Department of Justice were here as well. We spoke with one woman today who works in a building near the scene. After she and her coworkers heard 2 gunshots, they locked their building's doors and stayed away from the windows. She says so many thoughts were going through her mind at that time.
I'm always scared of hearing about schools, because I've still got kids in school, so I'm always scared about schools. Never a business, never think about it.
Police evacuated Marlene and her co-workers from IMEG Corporation, the engineering business where she works, and she says she saw blood splattered on the ground and someone covered in blood being placed into an ambulance. Now, Marlene told us that the first thing that she saw when she walked away from that scene was a message saying that she had become a grandma for the first time. So obviously lots of thoughts going through her head at that time, and she says she called her family to make sure that they knew she was okay. Back to you, Eric. I'm going to send it back to you.
Well, you talk about the ups and downs of a very emotional day in Middleton. Rose Schmidt live at the Marriott West. Rose, thank you very much. We're also hearing from a lot of other people who are in this very busy area at the time of this incident. One person we spoke with saw all the police lights, thought there perhaps had been an accident here along Deming Way, but eventually realized it was something much more. She says she saw someone at a nearby restaurant who appeared to have been injured during the shooting.
I went over to McDonald's and there was a lady in there and she had blood on her knee. She said, I asked her if she got shot, and she said, no, it was from the glass breaking from the window.
Again, as Rose indicated, there was that meeting area for family members at the nearby Madison West Marriott that just closed just about 5 minutes ago. Hopefully all those family members that were separated, those moments of doubt, were calmed tonight as those family members were reunited. Again, that center closing at 5 o'clock. The Middleton High School, Cromery Middle School, and the Clark Street Community School were all placed on cautionary lockdowns today. None of those schools really close to this location, but of course the district taking every caution it can. Now, as everyone knows who is familiar with the west side of Madison and Middleton, the Greenway Station area, very busy. We are seeing quite a bit of vehicle traffic coming through this area. We do want to pass along one traffic note. If you're trying to go north on Deming Way, right past this scene, you can't get through. Police obviously securing that scene all the way north to University Avenue. So just a note to pass along, avoid that area. We'll have much more coming your way on News 3 at 6. Susan, Charlotte?
All right, Eric, thank you so much. Businesses located at or near the active shooter scene located at 1815 Deming Way will remain closed for the next 24 to 48 hours while investigators from the DCI, FBI, and ATF continue their investigation into this incident.
Lawmakers across the state are reacting to the shooting in Middleton. Governor Walker tweeted, "Tonette and I are praying for those who were injured and for those who are caring for them at local hospitals. On behalf of a grateful state, I thank our outstanding first responders who acted decisively in the face of danger and stabilized the situation." State Senator John Erpenbach of Middleton tweeted, "An active shooter came to my hometown today. Our hearts are with the victims and with the courageous first responders. How many more times will this happen?" And there is more breaking news right now at 5.
Multiple schools in the Monona area are on lockdown because of an incident on a city bus nearby. One person was shot and the suspect is still at large. Madison police said they received a call just before 4 o'clock this afternoon for someone shot on the bus at Flom Road and Monona Drive. One person has been transported to the hospital. This is a viewer photo right here sent to us. La Follette High School, Senate Middle School, and Monona Grove High School are all on lockdown. Because the incident happened after school hours, the schools are not full. They will remain in place until the lockdown is lifted. We will continue to update this story as we learn more.
And there's more to come tonight at 5. When we come back, we'll have a recap of what we know about the shooting that happened earlier in Middleton, plus the latest on what Charlotte was just talking about. That's when we come back.
Middleton police are investigating this afternoon after they say a heavily armed shooter opened fire at a software company earlier today.
If you're just joining us tonight, Middleton police have confirmed the shooter is dead after being shot by officers, and 3 other people are injured and being treated at local hospitals. Our Keely Arthur joins us again to bring us up to date on the latest information. Keely?
Well, we were just briefed here at a press conference at the Middleton Police Department. The chief here saying it's a very terrifying day in Middleton, something they never expected to happen here. But boy, could it have been a whole lot worse. The shooter had an arsenal of weapons on him when he opened fire on his co-workers today at 10:30 a.m. in Middleton, just off of Deming Way. I want to give you a breakdown of what happened. That 911 call came in at 10:29 a.m. for an active shooter at WTS Paradigm. Within 8 minutes, that shooter was taken down by police, transported to the hospital, and later pronounced dead. He is currently the only casualty. Now, the latest on the victims: 1 critical, 2 serious, another treated and released. What we know about the shooter right now is that he was a Madison resident, worked at WTS, but we don't really know why he would do something like this. One of the very scary parts of all of this is that it was close to a very popular shopping center. We're being told that that area has opened back up after many people sheltered in place there this morning. Back to you.
Many questions still to be answered. Keely Arthur reporting live from Middleton Police Department. Keely, thanks.
A hearing today is canceled where leaders in Adams County would have decided what would happen to the clerk accused of causing a massive data breach. Instead of leaving her fate before the Adams County Board during the hearing this morning, County Clerk Cindy Philippi signed a document resigning from the position. Philippi is accused of exposing the personal information of more than 250,000 people by using an unsecured laptop computer, which is the center of the investigation. According to the resignation, Philippi begins a leave of absence Wednesday until her resignation is effective on December 31st.
A Reedsburg man called police Sunday and threatened to eradicate officers, according to a news release from police. Officials said 59-year-old Mark Benjamin was upset about the city's urban deer management plan to hunt urban deer. Police arrested Benjamin shortly after the phone call. He is facing charges of terroristic threats. The Reedsburg Common Council had unanimously approved the Parks Department's urban deer management plan on August 27th. The plan involves hunting in specific areas of the city where there is a high concentration of urban deer by approved sharpshooters from the Reedsburg Police Department. President Trump was in both North and South Carolina today to thank first responders and to show his support for victims of Hurricane Florence. The president helped hand out meals to people impacted by the hurricane and toured a hard-hit neighborhood. He also met with first responders and local officials, promising help from the federal government. Parts of North Carolina remain underwater days after the powerful storm hit. Along the Cape Fear River, the flooding is widespread and several rivers are still rising. Officials in South Carolina are expecting floodwaters to rise in some areas over the next few days.
And Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti joins us from the backyard patio with our forecast. Hi, Gary.
Hi, we're watching rain, especially later tonight and tomorrow morning. It could lead to some localized flooding. Let's start out by taking a look at alert days that are in place for the remainder of tonight into the day on Thursday. That is for a round of showers and thunderstorms later tonight. Some of those could have heavy rainfall, maybe even a little bit of hail. Those storms will lift north of Madison by early to mid-morning tomorrow, and then we'll turn partly sunny and warm with temperatures reaching the middle 80s. Another round of thunderstorms late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, more well north of Madison and north and west of our viewing area, will eventually come through as a squall line later tomorrow night. The heavy rain threat will probably be a little bit less at that time, but there may be a threat for high winds and hail for some of those storms that move on through. So a couple of different rounds of adverse weather for us. Flash flood watch in effect until 1 p.m. tomorrow for basically west of a Platteville to Lone Rock to Wisconsin Dells line. Precipitation potential showing about 1 to 3 inches over southern Wisconsin with some heavier amounts in excess of 3 inches and heavier thunderstorms. That's more likely to occur to the west of Madison, and that's an area that has received a fair amount of rain. In fact, I'm just going to go back on this here. You can see that generally about 1 to 2 inches of rain has fallen from just north of Prairie du Chien to south of Richland Center to around Lone Rock, and then also down in the southern portion of Grant County, whereas areas east of Madison have picked up less than a half-inch of rain. You can see the rain showers now to the east of us, where the rain has stopped here in Madison, but more thunderstorms are developing to the west across parts of southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. Future Doppler track shows more thunderstorms developing in northern Iowa, and those will be the ones that will reach us later on tonight. Storm Prediction Center does have a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms from Madison westward for the remainder of tonight. Hail will be the main threats, but tomorrow the highest severe weather threat is just north of our viewing area, an enhanced risk for high winds and squall line of thunderstorms and maybe some isolated tornadoes in central and northern Wisconsin. For us, it just depends on whether or not thunderstorms develop in the afternoon. If they do, they're more likely to be severe, but they're more likely to also stay north of our viewing area. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, showing a few breaks in the clouds, otherwise just mostly cloudy skies. The WISC Skycam, same thing. The rain has ended here, at least on the west side of Madison. And as we check out the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, still pretty cloudy downtown. As we check out the almanac for today, our high temperature only made it up to 67 degrees, the low at 55. Now, we may go up a couple more degrees from here on out if we get a little sunshine. Right now, 66 degrees, winds out of the east-southeast at 11. Pressure falling rapidly at 29.96 inches. And the dew point temperature in the mid-60s. That will lead to more shower and thunderstorm development later on tonight. So, again, a flash flood watch for our western viewers through 1 p.m. tomorrow. 63 for the overnight low temperature, showers and thunderstorms, especially later tonight. And then for tomorrow, showers and storms in the morning. Then some sunshine, another round of thunderstorms, perhaps late in the afternoon, more likely tomorrow night with a high of 84. Future track shows the showers and storms moving in late tonight. The best chances for heavier rain west of Madison and areas north of Madison. Then you can see the sunshine moving in for tomorrow afternoon. Then another round of thunderstorms from late tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night into the early morning hours on Friday. Then much cooler for Friday as winds shift around to the north and west. And rainfall amounts again in the 1 to 2 inch range. Some locally heavier amounts as well. The 7 to 10 day forecast, a chilly weekend in store. Highs only mid-60s Saturday, around 70 on Sunday. And then some thunderstorm chances early next week, followed by cooler weather toward the end of the week. First alert traffic, Beltline right now pretty slow in both directions. That's the live view at Rimrock Road and the Beltline. Right now, very slow traffic east and westbound from between Verona Road and the interstate. About 23 minutes traveling in an eastbound direction, 20 minutes westbound from the interstate back to University Avenue, 28 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990, 16 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 17 minutes to Sun Prairie on US 151. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you. A new study that shows the majority of employers are looking at your social media during the hiring process. We'll tell you why you may want to pause before you post when we come back.
Before applying for that next job, you may want to scroll through your social media pages first.
A study shows more and more employers are going online to screen potential candidates. Hannah Doba explains why you need to pause before you post.
So good.
While scrolling through her social media pages,
I have Facebook, Instagram.
Khadijah Hall admits she has some regrets over posts in the past.
Hi, how are you?
Especially now that she's at this job fair looking for work.
Is there anything on here that you think, you know what, I never want an employer to see?
Yeah.
There is?
Yeah.
Like what? You don't have to show it to me, but like what?
Well, one time I cursed on Facebook.
Okay.
Whether it's pictures, videos, or posting that funny meme, chances of your potential boss seeing it are likely. A new study from Career Builder reveals 70% of employers are checking out a candidate's social media profiles during the hiring process. That doesn't only apply to those looking for a job. Nearly half still check up on current employees on social media, and a third of employers have reprimanded or fired a worker based on their online profiles.
I'm not thrilled that people use it to screen, but you have to be realistic in this day and age. When you put it out there, it's out there for the world to see.
And if you think not having an online presence at all could help, think again. Nearly half of employers say that if they can't find a job candidate online, they're less likely to call that person in for an interview.
Oh, that's
As for Hall, she's going back to some old school advice.
My mom always taught me, like, don't put your business out there. Like, you know, everyone doesn't need to know what you're thinking at all times.
Advice that may help her land her next job. Hannah Doba, CBS News, the Bronx, New York.
Half of employers said they search social networking sites to see if a job candidate has a professional online persona.
Another check of weather when we return.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, the latest from Washington on the embattled nomination of Brett Kavanaugh. Our conversation with a wide range of Catholics over where they think the church should go next. And the blind football player who has become America's latest high school star. Those stories tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Finally at 5, apparently there's nothing more embarrassing than a dancing parent.
Check this out, a dad and a daughter are enjoying the Diamondbacks and Cubs game last night when dad starts dancing and the daughter can't help but be appalled at her father's moves. The dad sure did have a lot to dance about as the Cubs beat the Diamondbacks and are now 3.5 games ahead of the Brewers in the NL Central standings. I love him.
She's like, really, Dad? Please,
no, actually,
would you stop?
She's cute.
You'll never see that every game that I'm at, that's for sure.
You should be the dancing dad,
Nope, that's
Gary.
where I draw the line. I don't care how happy I am. Well, we're watching showers and thunderstorms out there. We've had one round of rain move through. Thunderstorms in Iowa and Minnesota are moving eastward and will reach us later on tonight. There's a flash flood watch west of Platteville to Lone Rock to Wisconsin Dells line through 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. About 1 to 3 inches of additional rainfall overnight into tomorrow. Then look for much cooler weather for the weekend. A brief warm up with some thunderstorms early next week and cool weather for the end of next week as well.
All right, thanks so much, Gary. That'll do it for us at 5, everybody. Hope to see you back here for all the updates for News 3 at 6.